everyone, this is Cat Demon 43 and back with another episode of The Letter. Now, before I start and say the whole spiel of what happened last time, I just want to say I hope all of you had a wonderful Easter, that you spend time with your family or friends or whichever. Doesn't matter. I hope you all had a good time on Easter. Regardless, besides me saying that, last time, in the last episode, we got a bit more confirmation, some lore hinting and things like that with Rebecca. Just a whole lot more me thinking that the ghost is definitely after Luke. And when you go back to looking at some of the other episodes, like with Hannah and such, it's very apparent, I think. Especially considering Hannah was like almost possessed by the ghost, calling Luke Prince. And I think that was the ghost, rather than Hannah saying Prince, but it was through Hannah. I still have so many questions. But I have a feeling too that the route that I'm on, I'm not going to be able to get a lot of those answers unless I do like when I do another playthrough, which when I do that, I'm probably going to cut out a lot of the stuff that I've already done and such. I don't really know, not 100% yet. I'm still trying to figure out how I would go about it. When I would do the other playthroughs, maybe do like a compilation of the different endings and outcomes and stuff like that. Depending. Again, not sure. But this is my first time playing through this game. I'm playing through it how I want to play through it. So, yeah. If anyone out there wants to tell me what they think of my way of playing, I'd be totally up for it, honestly. Anyway, so with all that being said and done and goofiness, let's continue with Rebecca. And I think this will be the last part of Rebecca's story as well. And then we'll be on to Ash next episode. Yeah, that. Just seeing the ghost kind of plastered on him like that makes it so apparent. Ugh. The brush of fresh air against my cheeks does little to dampen the chill in my bones. By now the sensation, the fear and disquiet it leaves whenever I see her is familiar enough for me. Already it has made a home in my nerves. Ugh. Also, I want to apologize too in the last episode. I wasn't reading properly. I was actually really, really tired. And doing it for 2 hours, not a smart thing to do at all. But I really was just so engrossed in wanting to see what happened and such. So, yeah, apologies. I'll do my best not to do that again. No promises, though. But still. I don't even notice my trembling hands until I cross my arms across my chest. The cold from the tips of my fingers seeps through the thick material of my shirt. Neither of it helps bring together some semblance of coherent thought in my head. But I know I should.
Someone has to tell that douche.
Yeah. I start walking back before fear can cripple me again. It's not wise. Returning, that is. Especially after what happened. But Hannah's still an old friend, and Luke doesn't deserve whatever misfortune that letter might bring. I can't just leave those two in there. Isabella's right. She's real, and there's something she wants from everyone who has read that.
Becca, where'd you go off to?
Oh, now you care. If you're done here, let's go. I'll get you back to the city. My mistake. The second his voice cuts through the crisp night air, it's that I've allowed my annoyance to get the better of me. Hey, Ash. Fuming, purpose forgotten, I whirl around and march towards him. One accusation after another piles up at the tip of my tongue, ready to be hurled at any moment. There's no hesitation holding me back when I fling it at him. The straight face he keeps as I do so doesn't help temper my anger, either. It only makes me want to slap some more sense into him.
Shouldn't I be the one asking you that?
Becca, I've been waiting here the whole time since that mess in the hall. I told you I hate parties like...
And before that, where have you been the entire evening?
Yeah, exactly. Where were you? Were you literally just trying to find Luke? Right then and there, I might have forgotten him. If he's shown some ounce of remorse for leaving me like that. Maybe he could have looked away, given me a sign that my assumptions might be right. He doesn't even need to put them into words. A single gesture of confirmation is all I need. Rather, what I get is the same impassive look. He does that whenever he can't disclose anything. He does that whenever he's lying. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. In the face of it, amidst the thick tension, a frustrated huff is the only thing I can summon.
Be that way. Fine. Suit yourself.
No more words. After everything I've seen and heard tonight, I'm already too exhausted for those. So without speaking any further, I simply walk past him and stomp over his car. I think it's stomp over to his car, not stomp over his car, like you're stomping on it. Although before I can pull on the door, he calls out, one hand outstretched, a gentle weight on my shoulders.
Wait, Becca.
He pauses, his brows furrowing and lips curving into a slight frown. I can almost see the gears turning in his head, while he tries to piece together everything he wants to say. Before, perhaps, I might have waited patiently for those. He's not a man fond of using words to express himself. Most often than not, any gesture of honesty will only come out blunt and coarse when forced. But today, for one reason or another, I simply can't summon that forbearance.
Ashton, if you're just going to waste my time again...
Becca, listen. I don't know how else...
That much is obvious. Why don't you just take the whole bloody night? Go on. I can wait until next year.
Yeah. Oh.
Better yet, why don't you just keep it all to yourself like you always do? It's not like...
Rebecca, will you hear me out first?
The silence I can offer him. But whether I'll believe what he's about to say is still up for debate. A very long debate. Oh, yeah.
I honestly don't know how else to put this.
You believe us?
I'm aware your parents have some kind of history with Hannah Wright, and somehow you're friends with her.
Uh-huh.
But you should stay away from these people for now, especially the husband.
Who? Luke?
His expression deepens into a scowl at my mention of the name. But whatever opinion he has, he doesn't immediately voice. Still, something about it has greatly displeased him, evident in the stiff note his tone assumes.
Yeah, he's bad news.
It's my turn to frown this time. What does he mean by that? What does he have to do with this? Care to explain your reasons? I think in this case, since we don't have Isabella or anything or something like that, we can actually ask him to explain what the heck he's talking about. So maybe we can get an answer?
Care to explain your reasons?
I went up. Yay. I've not meant for it to sound as harsh as it does, but anger and frustration have never been a good match in me, particularly in nights like this. He looks so shocked. It's not surprising when Ashton jerks back, as if I've struck him. For a fleeting moment, something akin to hurt darts across his features, his eyes narrowing and hands closing tightly into a fist at his sides. Then, swiftly, he glances away and shifts his focus on the line of trees nearby, like an answer can be gleaned from the dark expanse.
I'm really sorry, Becca.
What is it for? For the party? For the vague answers he continues to give? Does it include all those times before this? The year's worth of it? I don't doubt its sincerity. However, at the moment, the forgiveness he's asking isn't something I'm all too willing to hand, furious as I am. It's frankly a wonder how I can keep myself from raising my voice at him.
We'll talk about this tomorrow. And you better have a proper answer for me by then.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much, like, the whole like, I can't tell you this, I can't tell you that, when you know it's involving with your friends and people you know, and it's just like, there's only so much you can handle, only so much you can take, to the point where you're just like, no, that's not, you can't be doing that. You need to tell me, I need to know, regardless if it will hurt me emotionally. It's something that needs to be said, and hiding it just makes it worse, and it can put a huge strain on a friendship like that. There's a brief hesitation before I step away. A short moment of wanting to say more, of waiting if he has anything to add. He's only silent, eyes still strained at the distance. It's the last glimpse I see of him before I climb inside his car. If the door slams closed with the same force as the anger I'm holding, its sound merely vanishes into the night unnoticed. Rebecca found Ashton waiting for her upon exiting the mansion. Irked because he was nowhere to be found during the entire party, she demanded to know what was going on. When he couldn't give her an answer, Rebecca warned that they'd still talk about it some other time. He followed soon after, and shortly we're on our way back to the city. Yet even with the city bright lights welcoming us, the dense, somber air from the mansion still lingers. The moon is almost at its highest by the time we reach Samwell. Even after our respective heads have cooled off, the atmosphere within the car remains rife with unspoken tension. This isn't a problem so easily fixed with a few handshakes. Quite frankly, I don't know what will. Yeah. Ashton himself has no idea what to do when he alights and dawdles awkwardly in the middle of the car park, unsure. It almost seems like he's having an internal debate whether he should say goodbye or mutter another apology. I could have driven him away, purely out of spite, the second I've gotten off. Still, old habits die hard. It's late, and Ashton's flat is on the other side of the city. Irritation might still rear its head every time I look at him right now, but I'm not too cruel to push him up on another long drive, especially when he still appears as if he hasn't gotten any rest.
You can borrow the couch.
I throw the keys to my flat his way before a protest forms on his lips. Although he catches it with ease, he eyes it with a wary expression and shoots a puzzled glance my way.
You haven't been forgiven. We're still going to have that talk, believe me. But I'm not about to send you out on another drive looking like that. It's late. Go get some rest.
Yeah, Rebecca cares. Like, frustration aside and all that stuff with Ash, she does care about her friend, and it's so clear, and I love that. I love that so much. We're setting aside a lot of loose ends like this, but he appears to have accepted that reason, at least in the meantime. He does give me another questioning glance when I shove past him, pulling my mobile in the process.
Where are you going? I thought...
You go ahead upstairs. I need to contact Professor Andrew.
Aha! Thought so.
Andrew? Why would you... Oh, no. Please. Is this that thing Isabella said this morning? Again?
Yes, shut up.
I already gave her my word, Becca. I'll look into this BRC crap. No need to drag the old guy into it.
Shut up. Of course, he's still skeptical. It makes no wonder if he's even seen anything at all. Figures this curse will stay away from the scoffer. But this is another loose end tonight that I can't just leave alone, Ashton's belief notwithstanding. It just so happens that it's one I can delve into using means other than taking a look at the mansion itself.
Ashton, do you really think I still give a shite after that stunt you pulled tonight?
Yeah.
No, but this is...
I've spent so many years with him to know this is about to turn into another argument. Before I can finish it, I cut him off with a firm raise of my hand.
Look, I don't care. There are weird things happening around here. And yes, it's Isabella's brand of weird. Ghostly voices, strange sounds, and a bloody woman sitting at the back of my car. You don't have to believe me. and I no longer have the patience to convince you, so just leave me be, Ashton.
He doesn't push it, growing quiet instead, although I know he has a whole case of it prepared inside his head. But there's a reluctant shift in his movement when he steps away from our conversation. Short of climbing the stairs, he stops, turns to face me with an expression almost too conflicted. Oh. Maybe he has seen the ghost then. Okay.
Are you really sure
What?
that there was something? That you've been, seeing things?
Thank you.
Yes, I'm very, very certain. Now go. And you better not break anything in there. The last time I let you stay over, it was that statuette Belle gave me. You haven't even replaced that one.
Oh god. The last of my reprimand goes both unheard and unanswered as he disappears behind the stairs. If things aren't as strained, he might have had a quip or two about that, followed by a light banter. Instead, for a long moment, I am left staring after him. There's something in the way he asked it that nags. Coupled with his expression, the whole exchange just feels unsettling. One that doesn't fade even as I gather my thoughts and shift my focus on another, even as I dial Professor Andrews' number. And that is when it clicks. During the long wait for the professor, one stray thought emerges from the unease. Ashton has not intended for his question to be a jib. It's concern. For what, though? For my well-being? The letter's curse? The woman I mentioned? The answers for those will have to wait, however. Finally, the call connects and Professor Andrews' voice echoes from the receiver.
Professor Andrew?
Rebecca? It's late.
Yep.
What can I do for you?
I know, I'm sorry, but this is a bit urgent.
Yeah, no kidding. After all, this is a more pressing matter. Our lives might be at stake, and we're still in the dark.
Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you to do me a favor.
Oh. Wait, no, what was the favor? Professor Andrew Clark has agreed to meet me 2 days later, in front of Luxbourne's public library. He has other comments, but being a longtime family friend has its perks. I have my parents' connections to thank for that. Of course, I'm not the sort to impose on him often, but the situation is, well, it's not entirely bad, although it does require calling in a few favors from friends like him. Without his signature, I won't be able to gain access to the library's restricted section. Oh. If I want to get more in-depth information on the Ermengarde mansion, that is, not simply what they chose to show to the general public. Lore info! Good! Yes! Thank you! As much as I hate to admit it, there's always something people censor, and whatever it is, I won't ever find it in the general section. Yeah, like the mansion having a freaking dungeon! It has to be what they're keeping here, beyond the public eye. The thought of that alone makes me antsy. Thankfully, I don't have to brood over it. The wait for the professor doesn't last long. He never did enjoy making people wait. Likewise, he dislikes people who are tardy. Hey, it's weird seeing you outside the library. Or the cafe. He arrives 5 minutes after I do, greeting me with that kind smile and casual wave of his hand. I haven't seen him in so long, but it appears he hasn't changed much. His familiar presence alone is enough for a fond smile to spread across my face.
Professor Andrew.
Rebecca, didn't I say long ago you can drop the professor?
You know I can't possibly do that. Even if I can, it feels disrespectful to call you by your name alone.
Both you and Ashton never listen to this old man. Kids these days.
All right, but just for today, since you're doing me a huge favor, Andrew.
Ah.
I guess you simply can't have it all, even at this old age. But pleasantries aren't what we're here for, yes? You mentioned you needed a permit.
Yes, sir, if that's okay with you.
More than fine. Anything in pursuit of knowledge, as they say.
He hands me the permit without further prompting. It's all blurry. Just like he promised, he's also written a recommendation after his signature. This is more than enough to get me to those files. I mutter a small thanks before slipping it into my pocket. Although when I look back up, his brows are furrowed, the very face of curiosity. Not surprising, considering how vague I've been during our little talk over the phone. Right then and there, I've decided to tell him if he ever asks. Maybe not all of it, but stuff he needs to know. It's the least I can do to thank him. As expected, true to his inquisitive nature, he asks.
If you don't mind, though, I know you've always been an eager learner, but may I know what in the restricted section that piqued your curiosity?
It's the God mansion, sir.
He's quick to raise an eyebrow at that, and for a while, I fear he'll take the slip of paper back. Is there something in what I said?
The ones they have out in the general isn't enough?
I'm, hoping for a more in-depth read, sir. More about the history and the people who once lived there. The general section doesn't have anything much on that.
Oh, I see.
Uh-oh. Bad info. Bad information, I think. Not good history.
Well, you certainly aren't the first one to be enamored with that place. It doesn't shock me. The architecture is admirable, and the urban legends are something to talk about. Why, just this past week, I've got a few asking me about that. Imagine that.
Oh yeah, Zach. And I think I heard the sound of a mic in the background. Oops.
I think enamored might be a little too much to describe our interest in it. But I have to agree. The mansion is beautiful, even with the renovations. They kept the stained glass windows, too. They are magnificent.
Oh, you've seen it.
I was there for a few hours to attend a housewarming party. The invitation was for my parents, but they couldn't make it. My mum used to work as a private tutor for the Evans. Hannah Wright?
Ah, I know of her. Her husband, too. Who doesn't?
Oh.
Luxborn's most popular couple.
Something falls behind his eyes, the warmth in them suddenly gone, like he's reliving a painful, distant memory and seeing it play right out in front of him. It disappears almost as soon as it surfaces, but that look has unsettled something in me. Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna know more about that in Ashton's side.
Is something the matter?
Nothing much. But you know, you're already like a daughter to me. So if you could, do be careful with the friends you make.
Is this about the rights, sir?
Just a friendly advice from an old man. Don't think much about it.
But I want to.
Anyway, I have to leave now. Can't miss my weekly serving of bear claws. Say hi to your parents at the detective inspector for me, will you? I wish you luck with all that research.
Thank you.
I will. Thanks for this, Andrew.
Andrew gives my shoulder a slight squeeze, the gesture a younger me has always appreciated, and quickly crosses the street after. I watch him until he disappears behind the door to a cafe, until the doubt swimming inside my head finds a moment to rest. Whatever his business is with the rights isn't anything I should concern myself about. But somehow, in this grand scheme of things now, all of it feels oddly relevant. The how, though, I've yet to find out. And I'm hoping the library will give me the answers I want this time. On a gloomy Sunday morning, the library is especially empty. The second floor in particular. I've always considered this place to be a sanctuary, a respite away from the hubbub of the city. As a child, I grew up reading books here, spending hours here to no end, poring over the pages, living out fantasies in my head until my parents called me home. Now it feels nothing like it. The silence is smothering, suffocating. Even with how clean they've kept the microflitch room, how the entire small of it lacks a speck of dust or clutter. Breathing is a struggle for air. Not far into my stay, I begin to long for the noise outside, and perhaps as a way to calm this unease, I start to hum a tune. Imagine that. God damn it. Why? Why of all things it has to be that silly nursery rhyme? I've no inkling. I've not an inkling. It does its job, however. It fills the lull with some far less awkward, far less deafening, and that is enough for a distraction. I have business here. No time for silly daydreams, only important work to attend to. Even if there is a possibility of it being fruitless, by some means, it feels like I have to do it. If not for me, then for the people who has been affected by this... What do we even call this? A haunting? A Halloween prank gone wrong? Nope. A curse? If Isabella were here, what would she say? Will she panic? Will she be angry I only listen to her now? It all stems from that one moment in the movie house, doesn't it? We could have avoided this had we only taken her warnings to heart. One stupid mistake is all it took to send our normal lives on a downward spiral. Frankly, I'm no longer sure if I'm angry at myself for it, or at the universe for throwing us into this mess. But we can only make do with what little we have, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Going here might not be the right decision, but it's a start.
A good start.
It doesn't take much time for me to find what I need. A microflitch of old newspapers, long kept in a special storage cabinets at the far end of the restricted section. The year is 1620s and beyond. Before the city of Luxbourne even exists in the records, when the mansion has just been built, and Anselm is nothing more but a small, sleepy hamlet near a river. A lot of pieces are still missing, days, sometimes several consecutive weeks, without any records remaining. Often it goes on for years. Troublesome, but as it is, I'm lucky enough to find anything at all considering how far I'm looking back. Can't be picky now. Can't waste time mulling over what record keepers of the old could have done to make this a breeze for me.
I can still work with this.
The faint whir of the microflitch machine keeps me company as I go over each slide, each image, hoping for something that goes beyond what the local lore knows. There are snippets, little mentions of the family that once settled in the house here and there. The usual singing of praises for the couple who helped brought up what was once a tiny settlement into a buzzing town. Nothing substantial, nothing I didn't know before. Continues on like this for a good while. Until I come by the years after their deaths. The people of Anselm might have loved Lord William and Lady Elizabeth Ermengarde, mourned their passing, and held them in high esteem in the years after. But it was their daughter that was remembered fondly by the townspeople. If her parents built this town, Lady Charlotte was the one who made it prosper. Remarkable, considering it was a time period of recovery from a bout of plague that killed half the town's population, including her parents. Okay. Here we go. Free at last. Hare puts a stop to local slave trade. What's surprising, though, apparently her time also marked more than superficial changes to the place. She moved things, changed laws, altered old customs and traditions. If they were done on a woman's whimsy, it doesn't say. But she seems capable enough for more than that. The gist of it is, the town she rebuilt, it's what eventually grew to become Luxbourne City, when the nearby Anselm village remained as it was, a relic of the old. A frown swiftly forms in my face.
So, why is there a need to hide this?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. One by one, I try to recall every lesson I've gone through, every book, paper, and journal I've read. None of those ever mentioned this. It's always the lord and lady of the house, their endearing child, always an afterthought to those anecdotes, and one who always took her life in the end. Never someone who restored a town from the brink of collapse or brought new ideas to it. Is it because she's a woman?
That pisses me off.
Yeah. Granted, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Not all aspects of her can be considered admirable. But this is history. Some parts are bound to naturally delve into unpleasant territory, whether I like it or not. Witch hunts, for example, become common near the end of her life. Oh, Jesus. Which would have been completely unremarkable and might have gone to become a mere footnote in history if it didn't involve Lady Charlotte and the very slaves she saved. It caused quite a stir, even to leave almost a week's worth of clippings. The girl was eventually burned, condemned by an entire town. Oh my God. At the word of Lady Charlotte alone. But this doesn't really have anything to do with this curse, does it? Unless the woman following us and this slave are the same person. A tale of revenge? How cliché. However, with the lack of accurate photographs, it's impossible to tell. Maybe if I squint, the illustration would start to resemble her? But in my field, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. I'll be the laughingstock of the community.
This isn't going anywhere.
Mentally exhausted, I take a careful step away from the screen, pressing a palm to my tired eyes. The lack of ample light in this area doesn't help. A headache already threatens to form the back of my head, yet I'm nowhere near figuring things out. This is simply too much to take it all in at once.
I should have asked for someone's help.
Now I'm at a dead end. I start gathering everything around me and placing them back in their retrospective envelopes for storage. The motions no longer new after volunteering here a number of times. I didn't make much mess, anyway, considering the lack of materials available to begin with. I'll have to look somewhere else. The where remains unknown, though. But just as I'm about to slip the last of the slides in, something catches my attention. My hand pauses, the microshift halfway through its protective sleeve. This is one of the few I've set aside without taking a careful look at. It seems like a gossip column at first, but upon a closer look, I slide it back into the reader, gently tuning the dials in search of the page. It takes some time, but once the image becomes clear... Oh... Ermengarde heir announces betrothal. They must have had this drawing commissioned for the announcement. I don't doubt it. The details are far more inaccurate, their likenesses likely closer to how they might have appeared at the time. They're both recognizable this way, closer to those paintings I've seen in the mansion. However, it's the man standing beside her. Yeah, Eddard Godfrey, according to the article that caught my attention previously. Her first cousin, and eventually her fiancé. Maybe it's the posture, the manner in which he holds himself, or maybe it's the shape of his eyes, though I can't be too certain about that until I've gotten a better reference. Nevertheless, there is a resemblance. Oh, he looks like Luke. He looks eerily like... My head snaps up, growling at whoever's running in the floor above. Any day, I'd march upstairs and reprimand whoever it is.
This is a library, for heaven's sake.
But now is not the time. I've gotten what I need. Without wasting another minute, I hit the machine print button for a copy of the page, while my other hand moves to put everything back into storage. A ragged exhale slips from me. Relief, perhaps? Or maybe this is already exhaustion. Regardless, soon I'm closing my eyes as I wait for the printer to finish, if only to stave off a headache building up from everything. Sometime, I even began to humming the same song again for comfort. With the help of Professor Andrew Clark, Rebecca was able to gain access to Luxmorn's restricted section. In there, she discovered numerous accounts about the Ermengardes, all hidden from the public. Her research was interrupted, however, when... oh God. Despite my doubts about this, despite all the tension in my shoulders, this may be a small find, but at least I can start somewhere. We can start somewhere. There's a way out of this. I know it. The printer sputters to a halt. However, its sound isn't what makes me snap my eyes open. Shit. A feeling, a chilly brush of air behind my back. Where did everyone go? Brief enough for something sickening to suddenly lodge itself in my throat when I take in my surroundings. It's that suffocating sensation again, creeping to every part of me, crawling under my skin, draining me little by little of any strength. From that day in the mansion, from that brief moment at the school. Without delay, I grab the papers and make a quick beeline for the door. Fuck! Shit! Hi! Why are you on the roof? Ceiling! Whatever! Don't care! Freaked out! Hello! Saving! Shut up, ghost. I don't care. Okay, so I got two ways. If it's telling me to go up the stairs, I'm not doing it because I have a feeling it'll just be a bad way to go.
What are you doing, Miss Pink?
Oh, shit. I hold my breath, not daring to make any noise. For a little while, only the sound of papers crumpling under my grasp fills the room, the excitement from earlier gone instantly, replaced by a cold, seeping dread spreading throughout my limbs. But more than the fear, it is the anger. It's pain. It pains me to hear her using my own student's voice against me, and more than once, I believed it was really her. She has no right.
Why don't you play with me?
Although she hasn't made a move, if there isn't a wall behind me, I'll probably take a step back. Anything to put distance between us, no matter how small, as long as I'm out of her reach. But I steel myself. Because if I do fall back, turn away from her, I'll be left with no way out. I am not dying here.
You think you scare me?
Miss Pink, don't be so rude. I'm waiting.
I'm not afraid of you, you spook! This is one Scottswoman. You aren't getting into an early grave without a fight!
I love how her accent kicks in right there. That's awesome.
Come at me!
I expected she'll lunge, prove me what a monster she is. Instead, all she gives me is a smile, twisted and gnarled. It's as if time has crawled to a stop at the sight of it. A split-second decision. And before I know it, my body shifts. Eyes closing in anticipation, hands grabbing whatever's solid enough on the nearby table and hurling it at her. Please let it be a book. I don't bother looking if whatever I threw hit its mark. I run, as fast as my legs can carry me, despite my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. But in this maze of bookshelves, the whole place almost void of people. Is there even a place safe enough where I can escape to? If I head upstairs, there's most likely going to be death. I might have a better chance heading downstairs. Head for the door. If there's one, it's out of this room, out of this place, as far away as anyone can get from here. from her. I can think about the rest when I can think about the rest of what I can do after I'm outside, when there are people I can ask for help. When she's not chasing me like this. There's no hesitation in my steps as I race for the restricted section's door, head downstairs, and barrel straight out of the library's exit. Towards safety, in a desperate bid for my life, library's rules be damned. I can no longer hear her behind me, but I'm not taking any chances. A breath almost escapes me as I near the door. A little more. When out of nowhere, a library cart careens from a blind corner and slams into my side. My back hits the floor, and with a hard thud, the impact completely knocks the breath out of me. The copper tang of blood gradually spreads over my tongue as I fight to get my bearings back. I force myself to move, even with the excruciating pain coursing through my limbs. The exit's almost there. If only I can... But there's no moment's respite. Oh shit. Fuck! Hello! Hi! Shit, you scary! The next thing I know, there's a heavy weight atop me and cold digits sliding around my neck, tight like a vice, closing in, leaving me grasping for air. What do I do? Though my blurred vision, I can only make out the hateful gleam in the spirit of her eyes. As she looms over my body and grip of my throat grows tight. Okay, hold on. I know you're killing me. Give me a minute. Grows tighter. Okay. Desperation kicks in. My nails dig deep into her wrist as I slug against her firm grip, trying to pry her fingers away.
Let go. Let me go.
Oh, I don't know what button you want me to press. Is it Z? I think I died. Is that dead? That's death. Okay. Let's try that again. I'm gonna try Z. I don't think twice. My limbs are moving on their own before what I did could fully register in my brain, and my lungs would recover. Behind me, she lets out a cry, sharp, loud, and thunderous against the empty walls of the library. But the fear of her wails compares nothing to the relief washing over me when I finally make it out. I'm outside! Quick escape! Yay! That QTE was confusing! Where am I? I'm over here now. Okay. My knees buckle as soon as my feet hit the pavement, its surface cold and hard against my skin. I've only been in there for a few hours, about 1 or 2 probably. I don't know anymore. It feels like an eternity all the same. My breathing hasn't slowed down yet, and I don't expect it to after going through that. I probably look the most undignified creature on a Sunday morning right now, out of breath, disheveled, slumped here with a bloodied lip and all. But at present, I simply can't bring myself to care, even when a few passers-by start giving me strange looks. Stare at me all you want. I don't give a single shite. I'm alive. I'm safe. This isn't the end yet, but I'm safe. And inside my bag, if something that could get us out of this mess. Nothing definite yet. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it's still something. If Isabella is here, I'm sure she'll feel the same. She'll even be the first one who'll put her faith on it. Wherever this will lead us to is a victory on its own. Now all that's left is to find the others, the rest of us trapped in this bloody nightmare. Right on cue, as if in answer to my previous thought, my mobile phone lets out a beep. I pick it up, simply hoping it'll be one of them. Only it's a voicemail that greets me. From Ashton. There's a pang of appointment, of course, but it brings some reassurance that nothing happened to at least one of them.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
He ends it right there. The message less than a minute long, curt and gives nothing away. I let it ease my worries regardless and do as he asks. Because this, too, is another triumph for us. One less thing to worry about. Rebecca was seen limping out of the Luxborn Library late Sunday morning. Checking her mobile, a lone voicemail from Ashton was in it, telling her they needed to talk ASAP. And I'm on Ashton's story! Okay! Gonna call it there! Parties have never really been my thing. Wait, we start here? Really? Wait. Oh, profile. Okay, I'm gonna do that later. I'm gonna save. Gonna save real good. Go away, ghost creepy face. And I'm gonna quit. Eddard Godfrey. Okay, so I wonder if that's gonna tie in with Luke. Like he's somehow descended from them. But oh my god, we at least got some information. But it makes me wonder though, because there are two outcomes. And I have a feeling those said two outcomes could have lead to potential death. So I'm glad I decided, because it said go upstairs. I'm like, no, I'm having flashbacks of Marianne. What happened to Marianne? And I don't want that to happen to Rebecca. I screwed up once. I don't want to have it happen again. But, oh my god, so we got some lore. But it seems like for Ash, we're starting right at that party. So, major questions there, but I think I'm gonna call it there. I'm definitely calling it there for now. Hoping that maybe with Ash, we can get more answers, find out what's going on, and just... I need that answer. Oh, God. Need more history of Luxborn. Jeez, maybe we go back to the library as Ash. Here's hoping. I don't know. But it's interesting how we're not starting at the very beginning with Ash. No, for this, it's right at the party. That's different. So, yeah. Still questions. Got some insight, but still major questions. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoy this episode of The Letter, and you'll enjoy the next one too when it comes out. And I hope you all have a wonderful night, day, week, whenever, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Ugh, that's so creepy.